This is how to make a pixel shader in Roblox Studios. This is the shader, and how it works is it creates a bunch of frames that are pixels, and then for every frame, creates a raycast at the location of the pixel, and then if it hits something, it'll get the color of what it hits and set the pixel to that. If not, it'll set it to the default color, and this is just to limit how many times it updates per second. And I will also put a way for you to get this in the description, so you don't really have to make it yourself, but I'll show you how. First, we go into starter player, and then we go into starter player scripts, and then we're gonna add a script. You're gonna need these values to start. So we have the player that gets the player of the local script. We have the run surface. It basically runs every update of the game. We have we create a new screen GUI, and then we get the player GUI and set the screen GUI as parent to the player GUI. Basically just creating a place for the frames to like display. Next we have the pixel size. That's how big the pixels will be. The max view distance, that's how far the raycasts will be able to go. The default color, the color that the pixels will be set if the raycasts don't hit anything. Border pixel size, that's what that means. I have it set to 0, but if we set that to like 1 and then this to 0.9, this is the difference in color between the border and the like pixel color. Okay, so it basically like outlines every pixel with like a difference with the main color. So this is 0.9 difference, and it like you can have it if you want. I'll just put it in there so you can mess around. Okay, and then there's the frames, obvious frames per second. Offset, so offset is how many pixels like that will compensate for the like movement of UI that happens at when new UI is created or when the game starts. And distance, this is like change in brightness over the distance of the raycast, like how far away it like hit. Okay, now we're on to the setting up the pixels. So first we're gonna make a list of all the pixels. This is gonna be just to make it easier to get them all. And we're gonna create a function called, well, you can have it whatever you want, but this will set up the pixels, and we'll make a couple variables at the beginning. Because the size of the screen can change when like initializing, we first will like destroy any of the pixels that, or get rid of any of the pixels that are already in there, and set up like an easier way to organize all the pixels. And we check if the screen size is changed the same after like after a little bit of time, and if it hasn't, we call the function again and then just return. But if the screen size is the same, we go through all the y pixels and x pixels in two functions, or two for loops. The first for loop, we set it to 0 for the y, and have the end number being the y pixels, and the x for the second for loop. The x is also 0, and the end number is going to be the x pixels. And then you can spawn them in like this, but it doesn't really help. And for creating them, you create a frame. You don't have to set a name, but I just did. You set the size. This is a UDIM. I don't, yeah. This is offset, so it's like the actual pixel size, like not scaled to the screen. And for the position, it's gonna be a scale. And scales are like decimal points, like a 1 to 0 basically. So you divide the, so this basically gets the location of where the pixel should be, and you divide that by the entire screen size of the X. and you do the same for Y, but instead you subtract the offset so it goes up. And over here we do add the offset. I forgot to mention that. So it does count for the like difference. And border pixel, that equals the border pixel value. The mode is, I put it in set, and the Z index, I put that as -1 so that other UI can be on top of it. And then the frames parent is just the screen GUI. And then you add the frame to the list of pixels by getting the X value and the Y value, so it's really easy to find it. And that's why we did this over here, and setting that to there. Now we'll have a function for the raycast. This is not that necessary, but it just looks better. It has two inputs, the X and the Y. And I do recommend excluding the the character from the thing. So basically, it won't display the character. Rays don't really capture how the character looks in like the real game that well. So I basically made it so this like character lookalike thing follows your character, and it just makes it so you can't see the actual player. Um, the animations don't play on it, but you could if you wanted to. You just have to do a little bit more work. And then you need to create a view, which you get the current camera, and you get the viewport to ray function, and you just plug in the X and Y values. And then you create a array by getting the workspace, and then there's a function called raycast. And you get the origin, which is the like point of which the ray was cast, the view direction, which is like where to point the ray, and then the distance. It will basically, you multiply the view direction by the distance. That basically tells it how far the ray should go, and then you just give it the parameters and return the ray. And now to update all the pixels, we're going to create another function, and we just get the other values that we had up when we created the frames. And then we have these values. They're just kind of to optimize the code a bit, I would say, because it is quite laggy. With a pixel size of 10 and 3 frames, it is a little, 3 frames a second. Still is pretty laggy. Well, and not that much, but you can notice like delay in the mouse. We got the color, which is just a new color. We have the max distance inverted. This basically calculates forehand, so we don't have to do it every time. And default color, default border color. Okay, and then the X positions. This is basically so we can do the multiplication beforehand. Y position, we also did that beforehand over here. And we have basically the same thing as up here. 2 for loops. We get the pixel by doing basically the opposite of this. Well, we do the exact same thing. We just get it instead of setting it. And then the ray results is just the calling the function of the raycast and putting the X pixel and the Y pixel in. And then if there are ray results, that is necessary, because if there isn't, and we do the rest of this code, it will not work, but that's why there is a default color. Also create an instance color, the like color of the part that it hit, and then we'll have the RGB values just separated for easy like use over here. And then if there is a distance, we get the distance and multiply it by the opposite of the view distance over here. Change how bright it will be depending on the distance, and you just new color and then multiply all of it, RGB times the distance. And then for the border color, RGB, but we'll also add the BPB, border pixel brightness, and you just have an else and do it without the distance if we don't have it enabled. And then if we don't have a raycast, we just set it all the colors to default color. Okay, and now we can call the setup function, and that will just set up everything. And now for the frame rate stuff. So we'll have a function called frame, and the frame will add the elapse, which is basically the time since the last time it updated. And then if the frame is greater than or equal to 1 divided by the frame rate, we'll set the frame to 0. And then we'll update. It initializes, and you can see if we go to view and performance, we can see in here the CPU is working a little over the max. It does kind of bump up to 50 sometimes, but you can kind of change the pixel size and the FPS to fit your needs. And if you can, you try to optimize the updates. You can if you want, but I don't think you can do that much. I tried to find out how to run any code on the GPU because let's go back to the performance. We can see the GPU is not doing anything right now, but I don't think there's a good way. Don't mind that. That's because I broke that. And that's how you make a pixel shader in Roblox Studios.